All members of the Sustainable Business Council make a commitment to looking at sustainability within their value chain. We last produced the business guidance for them on this in 2003. Lots changed in the last 12 years. The focus then was on sustainable procurement, and what we're finding now is that leading companies are looking right across the value chain. The other thing that we've noticed is that consumers are a lot savvier. They're looking for more information from business on how they produce their products, and they're making more sophisticated connections between the impacts of a product and the business that produces them. We've worked with a number of our member companies on developing this guide, companies who are at the forefront of building sustainability into their value chain management. Through our partnership with the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, we've also had access to the information and practices of leading businesses internationally.
When we did this work on the value chain guide, when we were looking at the energy use that Toyota has, we found that it gave us quite a disciplined and structured review of how we use energy in Toyota, from the material extraction right through to the use of our products. And we found that that was a good way of then identifying what are the risks and what are the opportunities that come out of that energy use. And that gives us a framework to move forward from in the future. So, for example, on the risks, we can look at how do we mitigate those risks in the future? How do we think about if there's a fuel price increase, or if there's a supply shortage, or some kind of a shock to the system? How do we protect ourselves? And similarly on the opportunities, how do we find opportunities that we can improve our resource efficiency? How do we use fuel more efficiently? So if we think about risks, we're very exposed to road transport. We use a lot of trucks to ship our cars around the country. We use largely trucks to ship our parts around the country. Are there opportunities to be using coastal shipping? Are there opportunities to be using rail? So it was exploring how do we mitigate our risks. Because we're dependent on fuel for so much of our business and of course using our products, we need to explore with our suppliers, like the fuel companies, how do they protect themselves against fuel shocks? What are some of the things we can do to help them, and what can they do to help us? When we look at opportunities, it's about thinking, what's a more efficient way that we could use those resources? So can we collaborate with other people? Can we schedule our deliveries of parts in a way that is more resource efficient than what we do now, which is basically the same time every day? So it's opening our eyes to the whole range of energy use across our supply chain and our delivery chain to customers, and saying, given that, what things are dangerous, what things are opportunities. So coming out of that, we have a big action list that we can move forward with in terms of how to use the data that we've gathered.
The value chain guide for us actually gives us a really good method to assess how we're adding value and how we're looking at our sustainability initiatives across the business. Because for us, sustainability is very much a part of our DNA and our ethos. And being the first carbon zero certified zoo in the world, it was really important that we continue to improve what we do around sustainability. So looking at animal food made a whole lot of sense to us, because obviously we've got 500 animals to feed. We need to look at the sustainability of that food. Is it seasonal? How do we get it? How far do we have to go to get the food we require? So the value chain gave us a really good assessment tool to look at whether or not we were doing the right thing in terms of actually acquiring that food. We decided to look at our animal food processes and have a look at which animal food we were actually acquiring. We'd done some work on looking at seasonal procurement of animal food, but there are two large areas of animal food that we actually have many of the animals in the zoo. One was lucerne, which was hay, so we feed a lot of animals hay. A lot of large animals eat hay, and the other was Missouri, which is a primate food that we get from the USA. So those two products were the two that we landed on to really sort of drill down and see what we were looking at doing with those things. Could we add value? Could we change how we procure them? And our whole team was involved in that. All our keepers, our life sciences managers, our procurement staff, our stores manager, so that we could actually get everybody buying into any changes that we made after we looked at the guide. Many many benefits for this, to use this product. I mean, not only financial sustainability, we save $40,000 in the first year of looking at our animal food. And then also I think the whole idea of bringing the team together to really focus on a project that was going to give the zoo a lot of value, it also made sure that we could still continue to feed our animals really, really high quality food, but we could actually look at how we do that differently or change up what we might do in terms of buying with other zoos so that we could reduce some of the costs involved in acquiring some of this food. So the benefits were enormous. And of course, we can then start to look at it across a whole range of other animal food as well. Definitely we would use the guide again. I'm an absolute devotee of it because it's really simple to use, it's really clearly laid out, it gives you a lot of variety for people to input and for everyone to understand what their input means in terms of looking at the whole value chain. So for us as an organisation that takes sustainability very seriously, this guide just gives us a fantastic tool to use again.